Well, the first day of court facing the man who shot his brother to death was hard for Ralph Samuels. The second day may have been worse. Jonathan Norton was a 16-year-old Service High student when he was accused of killing 29-year-old Dwayne Samuels, the older brother of Ralph Samuels, who had been shot 3 times while inside his home. Dwayne Samuels was killed October of 1989. John Norton confessed and was sentenced to 99 years in prison as an adult while he was a teenager. But a recent Alaska Court of Appeals from 2023 found that juvenile sentences must be considered and consider that age, vulnerability, and prospects for rehabilitation and how teens, well, they're fundamentally different than adults. This is that second person who could be sentenced and resentenced under these considerations. And the second day in court in Alaska, almost 70 teenagers have been convicted of crimes and sentenced as adults. That's according to the Department of Corrections. Ralph Samuels, as well as Norton, spoke to the judge.
I know what I did. I understand now how terrible it was. And not just to the Samuels families, of course, especially to them, but to so many other people. My family, my friends, other people that followed this crime on the news, just the community as a whole. And I know now where I could have helped or someone could have helped with the choices that I made. And that's what I want to do, regardless of where I'm at or how I'm at.
So for a victim impact statement, I'm supposed to tell you how the actions have impacted my life. That would take hours, if not days of time. Everything about my life changed. How I view my neighbors, how I view God, what I do for a living, relationships with friends. Dwayne had his entire life taken away. No more joy, no more victory, defeat, heartache, no new experiences, no more of anything. The last thing he felt,
And a decision will be made later this month. Happening now in Fairbanks, supporters of the LNG pipeline are pushing to lawmakers to keep that project going and to get it done. Adrian Peterson is live at the Build the Line rally.
I'm here at Golden Heart Waste Management, where borough residents have gathered to show their support for the liquid natural gas pipeline. In particular, for many who are here, they are looking forward to and voicing their support for the believed necessity of a spur line that will go directly to Fairbanks. Now, earlier in the day, both residents and Interior delegates heard from Rex Cannon, the head of development for the LNG pipeline from Glen Farne. He gave updates on the progress of the project, saying many of the milestones to get the project going have been completed, and they are now working on agreements and contracts. Representative Mike Prox voiced his concerns about the project actually getting underway, but Borough Mayor Grier Hopkins says a lot goes into it, and it's about more than just cheap fuel.
There's a really famous bumper sticker out at the Howling Dog Bar out in Fox. It says, "Nothing more beautiful than a Texan with an Okie under each arm heading south out of the state." Well, let's turn that around and bring them back here to Fairbanks and give them a home, show them what our great community is here in North Pole and the interior, and be able to keep them here. So that's what the boon could mean for us, because that plus the potential for low-cost energy is going to be really important.
Now, this rally started at 4, so it's been going on for 3 hours almost. And quite frankly, dozens of people have turned out, maybe even hundreds. The parking lot is well more than full. But we'll have more updates on this later on. Adrian Peterson, Alaska's News Source.
And Anchorage Mayor Suzanne LaFrance weighed in on what that LNG project could mean for the city, saying the project could end up costing it millions of dollars. Because the gas line itself would run outside of Anchorage, the city would not receive direct pipeline tax revenue. Yet the LaFrance administration estimates that the project could cost the city up to $173 million in extra public service costs because of Anchorage being a hub for the project. She says the city would need to prepare the welcome around 10,000 new workers, driving up demand for housing and emergency services. Now, despite the possible challenges, LaFrance says she sees the silver lining.
Definitely there'll be long-term benefits, and our tax cap works great for that kind of long-term scenario. But in the short term, where we need funds, we'll need funds immediately to be able to meet the needs, those service needs of to 10,000 more people. So the short-term impact is where we need assistance.
And we asked the governor and both the House and Senate Finance Committees about LaFrance's request for impact funding. The governor's office says he's not opposed to an impact fund that can aid local governments. We have not heard back from lawmakers on the finance committees. Well, for the third year in a row, Anchorage will not provide lifeguards at local lakes. It comes at a time when our suddenly warm temperatures are drawing lots of families to the water, like here at Jewel Lake. Safety experts say without lifeguards, it's more important than ever to keep a close eye on your children. And remember that swimming in Alaska in a lake is very different than swimming in a pool.
Even if you think you're a strong swimmer in the pool, you don't know what's on the ground. You don't know if you're going to get a cramp. You don't know where the drop-off is. So it's important. All of those different factors come into play with a natural body of water like a lake or a river or even the ocean.
And people can also take advantage of the free life vests that are offered across the state. With the weather looking good this week, it's a good time to get out and have some safe fun. Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry is getting a slice of that sunshine all week today. She is at the University Lake. Melissa, what are you getting into?
Yeah, we are having so much fun out here, Rebecca. Today, the warmest day of the year, easy. Temperatures climbing almost 20 degrees this week. So, of course, we had to get out and experience it, see what it feels like. And we're also getting to experience what it feels like to be a Campfire Alaska camper. These are their kayaks, and they have a camp right here at University of Alaska. Campers come out here every day, every week, all summer long. I hear they're full next week, but they have some spots open later on in June and the rest of the summer. So if you want to experience this, kids want to get out and about, try some kayaking and rowing, fun, safe way to do so. And look how beautiful it is out here. We've seen all kinds of wildlife, birds and swans and dogs and pets, and people just enjoying this beautiful day. Do want to show you those current conditions outside. It is toasty. We are still holding at 70 degrees here in Anchorage, 73 in Palmer, mid-60s in Fairbanks and Ketchikan at 77, down from the high temperature today of 80 degrees. Now, as you look at conditions here across South Central, you can see a lot of 70s on the map, mid-70s throughout the valley, low 70s from Cordova and all the way up into Glen Allen. Even Homer, seeing those temperatures getting back close to those 60s. Now, the area of low pressure that was causing some concern in Kodiak is moving south, so improving conditions there. Just watch out for the standing water and that landslide risk. Otherwise, let's look ahead to tomorrow. Low to mid-70s across the board, even warmer than today. If you can imagine that, we're going to hold on to these temperatures through midweek. I'll have a closer look, Rebecca, at that extended forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
The Blood Bank of Alaska is asking for more donors, especially types A and O. Now, that's with the World Cup this year. The Blood Bank of Alaska is also being asked to help build up that national supply. That, along with the 4th of July celebrating 250 years of the U.S., makes local donors very important this summer. Making an appointment to donate, well, that's recommended. Well, who doesn't love a behind-the-scenes look at a newsroom? What if it could be a look inside this newsroom? I'm talking with my former investigative producer about his time reporting in Alaska. It's today's episode of So We Asked.
So tell me about the book. What do I expect?
What you should expect is it is fiction. It is fiction. That nobody is anybody, and characters are a conglomeration of people I worked with both before I got to Alaska and in Alaska. But it's absolutely centered and based on the 2 years I spent in Alaska. Therefore, the title, 2 Years on Another Planet. And that's the way I felt about it for a long time. That it was so different for me, Alaska, and all the things that are Alaskan, that I felt like I was on another planet, not that Alaskans feel like they're on another planet. So the title reflects my disconnect, I think, in some ways, with how unique living there is and how unique the culture is.
So We Asked is tonight at 7. We will also be publishing on Alaska's News Source streaming services on demand and can be found on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Roku.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's News Source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's News Source app.